All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, October 4th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. I'm joined by my co-host on Monday and Tuesdays here over at MMAOB, Mr. Big Marcel. What's going on, Marcel? How's it going, man?
Hi, what's up, man? All good. Pretty tiring weekend, to be really honest, but I'm glad to be here. So
I feel you. I've been working hard too, man. I definitely feel that. Got this job. I think I was telling you guys. I got a new job with bookies.com, which is a really, really cool website. Basically, what we do is we review sports books and share reviews of sports books. It's a really, really good informative website. So definitely check it out, guys. If you haven't, if you have any questions on sports betting, that website answers a lot of them. So I've been really busy with that, Marcel, but obviously busy as hell with MMA too. And I watched the card in the weekend, and we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about UFC Vegas 38. We're going to talk about Bellator. I got to talk about that main event with you, man. And Glenn's here. Hey, Glenn, what's up, man? He says, surprised not to still see steam coming out of yours after the MVP decision. I was heated about it, man. I wasn't happy with that decision. And then the other card was Dana White's Contender Series. But I think we should start with UFC, and then we'll go to Bellator and Dana White's Contender Series last year. Marcel, sounds good to you?
it's up to you, man. I'm all for it.
Let's do it. Let's start with UFC. So now, this fight, guys, I mean, I was just thinking, I was in the car driving yesterday, and I was like, has there been a worse main event this year? Has there been a worse fight in the main event? Because to me, that was one of the worst main events I've seen in a long time. Can you think of a worse fight this year that was a main event?
No.
Maybe Michelle Waterson and Marina Rodriguez wasn't an exciting fight. I was thinking about that one. But, this at least they were trying to win. These guys, I don't know what you guys thought, but it sure looked just like a sparring match between two friends to me. That's what it looked like to me, Marcel. Two guys that just were respecting each other. They only landed 44 strikes for Santos, 48 strikes for Walker in 5 rounds. That's terrible, guys. You look at last week, Volkanovski landed over 250 strikes or something, and Ortega even landed close to 100. It was a horrible fight. And I had a lot of people saying to me, you just can't enjoy a good technical fight. I can enjoy a technical fight, but to me, it's these guys aren't being paid to spar. They're being paid to fight. They didn't really fight to me, Marcel. They were just sparring. They had no problem just pitter-pattering for 5 rounds. It was a terrible fight. Santos won. I thought it was probably the right call, 48-47. There's a lot to talk about here. John Kavanagh telling Johnny that he was up after the 4th round was some of the worst corner advice I've ever heard. And someone who bet on Johnny, that was brutal to hear that. I was like, why did you say that? I think he actually had a chance to win a decision, which is nuts. Never thought that was going to happen. So on one hand, yeah, it's good he went the 5 rounds, Marcel, but this new version of John, I don't like this new version of Johnny Walker. Bring back the old Johnny Walker. Give me your thoughts on the fight, man, because I'm still confused what happened with this fight. I thought it was an awful fight. Give me your thoughts, guys.
How do I say that in a nice way? What a fucking terrible fight, man. I mean, it was really man, I'm kind of happy this fight was around 3 a.m., and not around 7 a.m. It was like a sparring match with not even that hard of sparring. You know what I mean? Listen, man, I always say, listen, man, I'm just a couch cunt. I'm watching from my couch, so well, what can I do? But it wasn't good, man, at all. And also, man, you got to tell me, man, I mean, I know Johnny Walker has been with SBG before.
Yep.
But why the hell you're a light heavyweight guy and you're going to SBG, man? Because who's
he working with there? Who's he even training with?
Yeah, I mean, high level, pretty much. I don't think. Yeah, you got Ryan Spillane there, who just went pro, who was a former. I think he fought at the IMMAAF, that high level amateur MMA organization. But I don't understand it. It's like I said on Dutch podcast earlier today. There are also some Dutch guys who are going to SBG, but at least those are featherweights and lightweights. You got at least some good featherweights and lightweights there, but it's a light heavyweight. And then I know his girlfriend is Irish or something. But
yeah, dude, I was just about to say that. I think that's why he moved there in the first place. Because she's from there, right?
Move the fuck to America.
Go to Florida. It's time to go to It's time to go to Sanford MMA. It's time to go to American Top Team.
You got Brazilians there. You will feel welcome there.
Yeah,
your
is a bad
will be
mistake.
better even. I don't understand it, and it's just what you say, the corner fights. What the fuck, dude? It was 2-2 going into the 5th, in my opinion. Yep. And Santos won the 3rd round or the 5th round. So 48-47 was the right call, in my opinion. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with the scorecard. Trust me, as someone who bet on Walker, I was hoping, guys, but I knew that he was probably going to lose that round because there was that one punch landed by Santos. One significant strike, really, that rocked his head back, and I was like, this fight's over. Because he didn't do anything after that to like fire back, and he still could have won the fight. It was very frustrating to watch, guys. I'm sure you guys all felt the same way. After the fight, Thiago Santos took the microphone. He said he's out of fights on his deal, but John Morgan came out today and said that he has 3 fights left to his contract. So clearly he was just doing that to try to get a new contract and get more money. I found that there's no way I'm giving this guy more money after that fight. After the last 2 fights, they were both garbage. I like Thiago Santos. Obviously, the guy's been a warrior for many years, an exciting guy.
Sure.
He's not the same guy anymore, though. He has to fight this way now because he can't fight like he used to. He'll lose. So he has to fight this way. But Johnny Walker, he can still fight the way he used to, Marcel. He's not an old man like Thiago. He's not 37 with busted knees. He's 29 years old in his prime, and he refused to do anything in the fight. It was so frustrating to watch. I love watching UFC, guys. It's my favorite thing to do. Every Saturday night I watch it. This was one of the few Saturday nights, Marcel, where I kind of felt like I should have been doing something else, you know? It was that bad of a fight. I don't know. I just really didn't like the fight.
I fully agree with you, man. I was happy, like, it was 3 a.m. I think I still went after my computer for like 1.5 hours more to do something else because I was like super bored, you know?
Yeah, it was a boring fight. It really was. My fiance fell asleep. You know, my kid was sleeping too, so I was like, actually, no, it was a snoozer. If you want to like fall asleep, that'd be the fight to watch. I don't ever want to watch that fight again. I'm just getting some comments here. Let me get the comments from you guys. This is a good comment here, Tristan. Hey, Tristan. He says that Rosenstruck gone was also a bad fight. I agree. That was also a bad fight. They're probably both in the same. Actually, at least Cyril did something in that fight. I felt like both guys did nothing in this fight. That's the difference. You know, like Rosenstruck's been in some fights where he doesn't do anything, but this fight, both guys didn't do anything.
This kind of resembles the fight for me with Jan Blachowicz against Jacare Souza a few years ago.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that was also a really crappy fight, although that one was like more against the fence. They were just like shoving each other against the fence, and this fight was just, I don't know, guys. It was an awful fight. Let me get the comments, though. Tristan, I'll talk about the Holland fight in a sec. Marcus has a question. Do you guys see Johnny Walker having a bright future in the UFC training SPG? Fuck no, Marcus. I think we've already made that clear. Needs to go to a different gym. Like I said, Sanford MMA would be a really good gym for him, I think, or American.
The thing is also it's also here in the Netherlands, by the way. There's such a weird vibe with, we're going to we want to train somewhere else, not in our own country. We go to SBG here in Europe. Why are you going to SBG?
I wouldn't go to that camp
because you only go because Conor comes from there.
Bro, John's really turning into like Edmund Tarverdian Part 2. He really is. Yeah. He had his Ronda Rousey, was his Conor McGregor, and he has no like who else is there that's good? Thalia McCord is okay, I guess. She's decent, but I can't think of a good. Really good fighter. Like Peter Kelly, I think is okay. He's decent.
Yeah, and James Gallagher.
James Gallagher's decent. I mean, these guys are Bellator fighters. They're not even like they're not UFC top 5, top 10 guys. Like
and
Johnny
it's also
Walker. Yeah,
we're not talking shit here, but it's just weird to me that if you think as a fighter we'll go somewhere else in Europe, we're going to SBG. Yeah, that's pretty much purely because Conor comes from there. Because if you have to name 5 top fighters from SBG as a non-Irish person, you know, you probably can't name them.
Yeah, so. and Johnny said, you know, he's going to be John Kavanagh's new like Conor. That's what he said before the fight. He's like, I'm going to be the new Conor. I'm going to be the new cash cow. I don't think so, man. He's got to get back to his old style. I preferred the guy that got knocked out in the first round or knocked the other guy out in the first round. I don't like this new style of Johnny Walker. This is not fun to watch. Get him back to the old style. Alex, what's up, man? How's it going, Alex? Tristan says he agrees with me. Terrible fight. Yeah, it was. Matt, what's up, man? If I'm at 205, I'm asking the UFC for Santos. Dude, I agree completely. He's top 5. He's ranked, I think, 5th. I think a lot of these guys being Anthony Smith, I think would beat him in a rematch if they want to do that. Yuri Prochaska would smash him. Obviously, they won't do that fight. Rakic, I think, would beat him again. Yeah, Dominic Reyes. You think that fight, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
That makes sense, you know.
Yeah, and I think Dominic wins that fight. Get him back on track, right? He needs to get back on track.
I put Walker against Paul Craig or Jan Kutelaba.
Yeah, I would give Walker someone like lower, like even like an OSP, honestly, because I think he needs to bounce back. At this point, like he's lost 3 or 4 guys, you know, he's got to bounce back.
I mean, by the way, I wouldn't mind if they gave it a draw, man. They both didn't deserve.
Yeah, it was a bad fight. Yeah, it could have been a 10-10 third round. It was really. I looked at the stats. They were really bad. They're really awful to look at. Like it's just no action. Santos landed 10 strikes, I think, and Walker landed 8. So because he landed 2 more strikes, he won the round. It's that sad. That's really sad.
You saw my tweet. Who was the winner of that night? All the other contenders in the light heavyweight division.
It was just awful. Like a guy like Rakic or Smith, I was looking at the division and saying, "Wow, like I'm easily top 5." Marcus says when Walker Santos was about to start, I was worried about Walker when I know his SPG was his camp. I had to confirm Adam when the fight started. I can confirm this. Marcus messaged me, was like, "Is he training with Conor?" I was like, "Yes," or Conor's camp, I should say. Is John Kavanagh overrated? I mean, I've kind of always felt that way. I got to be honest with you guys. Like, it's not like just because of this guy. I've kind of always felt that Conor was like his only real quality fighter.
Yeah, there's also a very weird rumor, and I heard from many persons that it's true that John Kavanagh actually does the matchmaking for all Bellator double cards.
Well, they're not doing it anymore. They don't have Bellator.
Not anymore. Okay.
What I did hear, he was doing the Bellator matchmaking for the European series, and he would give favorable matchups to his fighters. They wouldn't always win, but that's kind of obviously biased. We can talk about that we'll talk about that in a second too. We got Kevin. Hey, Kevin, what's up, man? He says, I think I saw on social media that Walker may have broken injured foot. Haven't seen a confirmation. I didn't see that either, but I guess that would kind of make sense. Like, why he didn't fight as well if he had a broken foot? I mean, that's understandable, but it's just a frustrating fight. But that's fair, Kevin. But what about Santos? Why didn't he throw anything? Like, it was just such an awful fight to watch. Jose's here. Hey, Jose. He's talking about next week's card. We'll talk about that tomorrow, Jose. We'll break the whole card down. You're gonna say
we're going from frustrating fight 2 to frustrating fight.
Yeah,
1.
we gotta talk about this fight, guys. So this is. I mean, I'm gonna guess this is gonna be like a 10 to 15 minute conversation here. So let's just talk about this fight: Kevin Holland and Kyle Daukaus. So obviously, guys, I picked Kyle Daukaus to win. I did put a little bit of money on him, and I'm not saying like the way that the fight played out. That's like a way I'd want to win. But here's the thing. Okay, here's my problem with this fight. Okay. The fight wasn't stopped as soon as the headbutt. The clash. It's not a headbutt. It's a clash of heads. Okay, we gotta make that clear. It's a clash of heads. A headbutt's an illegal move. If he headbutted him, he would have been disqualified. So Holland would have won. Headbutt's an illegal move. Clash of heads is when two guys, they're getting in close, they smash each other in the head. I don't think either guy was trying to hurt each other with that head clash. It just happened. Unfortunately, Holland got knocked out. Obviously, we all saw what happened, guys. But Big Dan fucked it up. Big Dan fucked this up. He should have stopped the fight as soon as Holland was knocked out. Instead, he went close to him and he's like, nope, he's up. He woke up. So as soon as he woke up, that fight's back on. To me, that fight's back on. And then Holland actually defended 2 submission attempts before the 3rd submission attempt, which finished him. And it was like a minute later, Marcel. It wasn't like 2-3 seconds later. It wasn't like he knocked him out with the headbutt and then, the clash of heads. And then they stopped the fight. Because if that happened, I would have been like, okay, obviously, I mean, what are you going to argue with? The fight went on a full minute after that, Marcel. They were fighting against the fence. There were 3 submission attempts. It's frustrating, To me, it's like, I'm not saying that no contest is the wrong call. I think it is, in the end, the fair call. It's the right call in the end. But the way they got to the call is wrong. The way they did it is, it didn't even match the Nevada State Commission's own protocols. Aaron Bronster was talking about this on his Twitter yesterday. They have protocols for when instant replay is supposed to be used. This actually wasn't supposed to be used in that particular instance because the finish didn't happen from the choke. The finish happened from the choke, not from the headbutt, from the clash of heads. So the fight should have been stopped at the clash of heads. Because it didn't, I felt that they screwed up Daukaus because here's the thing. Kevin Holland had 2 methods basically Kevin Holland could have a win or he could have had a no contest. But Kyle Daukaus could only have a no contest or a loss. That's not fair. That's not fair, guys. So to me, it's not fair. What happened wasn't fair. And again, it's all the ref's fault. He fucked it up. He saw the clash of heads. He saw Holland get knocked out, and he didn't stop the fight. This is all Big Dan's fault. He fucked it up, guys. Dan's a good ref. He's one of the better refs, probably. I mean, let's be honest. It's a hard job. But he saw the clash of heads. He even recognized it was like, hey, there's a clash of heads. But still let the fight go on. So to me, that's fucking bullshit that they kind of robbed Daukaus of his win bonus. That's why I'm pissed. I don't care about my money. Who cares if I lost my bet? It's going to happen. I'm going to win and lose bets. Kyle Daukaus got fucked out of what? His $12,000 win bonus. That guy probably really needs that $12,000. He got fucked out of that because of the ref. The way they did it was Sean Shelby going in, talking to the commission. Why was Sean Shelby here?
What the hell? Yeah, exactly.
You guys are seeing I'm a little bit mad about this one. I'm just mad because of the way it happened. And Herb Dean's in there talking too. But to me, it's like, again, if there was an appeal after the fight and then they went to the commission, they talked about how Holland was we all saw him get knocked out with the clash of heads. I understand if they would overturn to no contest, but I've never seen a fight get overturned right after the fight. It's never happened, guys. It's never happened. So they just had a precedent-setting fight, basically, Marcel. And now in the future, when something like this happens, they better fucking do this again because they can't say they can't do it again because they just did it. So give me your thoughts on this, man, because this whole situation is nuts, but it's all Dan's fault. Give me your thoughts.
Adam, in through the nose, outside through the mouth. Right.
Let me get this comment because I know, guys, I'm really heated about this because again, I agree completely with Jose. Kyle's declared the winner, gets his win bonus, and days later gets overturned. Holland doesn't lose. Daukaus gets his full paycheck. I agree. They got to keep the win bonus from the guy. That guy really needs that money, guys. He got fucked so bad. He got fucked really bad. You know what I mean? Glenn says Herb needs to take blames too. He could have stopped that after. Same with the Molly McCann fight. I can't remember if it was him or if someone else, but they saw the clash of heads. Remember that fight? They're like, that's a clash of heads. They let the fight continue. I don't get it. If you see a clash of heads and a fighter gets knocked down, you have to stop the fight. John McCarthy on his podcast yesterday talked about. He said he's had a situation like this. King Mo and Seth Petrozelli. There's a clash of heads. Seth got hurt. They stopped the fight, gave him 5 minutes to clear his head, and they started the fight back again. Kevin Holland said if he'd been given 5 minutes by the referee and the doctor, he would have been able to fight still. This is all Dan Miragliotta's fault, 100%.
Okay, so I'm really fired up about it, and I was too, man, on Saturday because, I said on Twitter as well, like, I don't have a problem with the outcome at the moment, but I have the problem how they get to the outcome, and that's not the way. And people blasting me for it, man. You guys either you don't know the rules or you're some biased son of bitches. You know what I mean?
I got a lot of people blasting too. I think it's a good thing that they talk about this whole issue, but you got to understand, guys, like me and Marcel and Aaron too. Aaron's another guy who's getting blasted. We've been watching this sport for years, and we've never seen this happen before. So why is it happening? Why is it okay now? You know what I mean, Marcel?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I'm not biased at all. I don't give a shit if I have my pick right or not, But the thing is, Holland went down after the clash of heads, and he was clearly out. At that moment, you stop the fight. You just stop the fight. And no, even Dan said to Herb Dean, because we could hear it on the broadcast, he said like, yeah, I saw him go down and he was out, but he was immediately back awake, so I let it go on. No, that's the wrong thing.
So you let it go back on. So why did the fight get overturned later on? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It's a wrong thing to do, And then Herb Dean is like, yeah, maybe you can better do the no contest. So, and what does Shelby there, man? Shelby, get the fuck out of there.
As soon as Shelby came in, it sure seemed like that's when the discussion changed, because the announcers were saying, okay, I think they're just gonna call this one a win for Daukaus, and the next time they're gonna do something differently. I think that's what Brendan Fitzgerald was, it was Brendan was the commentator. I think he was saying that. Yeah. We got these comments too, guys. Matt says, props to Holland taking the rematch. He's gonna lose. Probably. It looks like a bad matchup for him, right? Like that's why I picked Daukaus, because of the wrestling.
By the way,
again, it wasn't a clean win, obviously. Tristan's right. He did throw up a triangle.
I also want to say, like, what, and people say that doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. What would happen, if this same thing happened? Holland got knocked out by that clash of heads, and 1 minute later, Holland knocks out Daukaus.
Or he triangled or something. Then? Exactly.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have overturned it. So why is that? That doesn't make sense to me. The whole way
so Daukaus could only lose. Daukaus after that clash of heads couldn't win anymore.
That's the thing. It's not fair. It's not fair. You're trying to look for a fair rule. How was it fair when one guy couldn't win the fight? That's fucking bullshit. I'm just saying, everyone's saying, oh, this is the fairest outcome. In the end, it is, but not at the time. At the time, it wasn't.
Yeah,
exactly. I agree completely with Jose. Call it a win for Daukaus. A week later, change it, and then, I don't think they would take his win bonus. He would probably keep it. This guy probably really needs that win bonus. He's fought, like, what, one time this year, and he lost? He needs that money, guys. He needs a lot more than the UFC does. I would assume that they didn't pay him. It'd be nice if they just gave him that money. You know what I mean, Marcel? Because I think he got so screwed here by the ref.
Yeah.
Kevin Nicholson, hey Kevin, he says Holland's defending the first two stops after the clash heads was Knockout was amazing to me. Knockout is brain trauma by definition. I can't remember too many times where a guy's been knocked out and submitted in the same fight. I mean, how many times has that happened, right? It's been pretty rare. We've seen flash knockouts happen before in fights. It happens. Guys wake up. It's just part of the game. But again, because it was a clash of heads, the referee should have stopped the fight immediately. And again, guys, he saw it. And I got to be honest, I'm watching the fight and I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, if they go to review, they're probably going to overturn it. I was thinking that. I'm thinking to myself, Daukaus needs to get to the end of the round. Because what happened? What would happen if it went to the end of the first round? Would they have just been like, all right, we're gonna call it no contest from 3 minutes ago? You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, then what would have happened, right? So Daukaus got screwed here, guys. He really did. I'm telling you, he got screwed here because of a weird rule. And again, it's no one's fault that head clash happened, and it's not Holland's fault. Kevin shouldn't really have a loss on his record, but at the same time, I don't know. I just felt like the way it played out, I think he should have won the fight,
And it bothers me that people can't discuss in a normal way. Like, I mean, it's not what it's fair. It's what you have to do, what is in the rules, And in a sport, in a game, there are rules, and you should obey the rules. You obey the rules.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you go to instant replay, they talk about how it's always supposed to be used during a finish, right? But the finish came from the choke, so why was it not used during the choke? Why did it go back to a minute ago to the head clash? It doesn't make sense to me. They didn't use the instant replay properly, in my opinion. I really don't think so, guys. Anyways, let me get these comments. Glenn says, feels like the ref make up shit half the time. Like Herb Dean getting position back to someone who's committed low blow. I saw that too. That was weird.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah.
What about Herb Dean when he had the what was that guy earlier this year? Eric Anders and Darren Stewart, and there was a legal knee, and he's like, "Oh, we'll just call it no contest." Such a lazy call when it's a clear illegal knee. Remember that? He just didn't want to call it a DQ. It was so lame. Owen Carroll, hey Owen. Besides the head clash, they came back to the headshots. Right call done the wrong way. I kind of agree with that. Exactly, Jose. What would happen if Holland knocked out Kyle? He probably would have won the fight. Kyle would have been the one screwed because his head was a little bit stronger, I guess. It just it's frustrating. I get it, guys. It's forehead on chin. It's going to knock a lot of people out, but it wasn't on purpose, you know? Anyways, is there anything else you want to talk about this fight? I feel like we should probably just move on to the other fights because I'm getting pretty heated up on this one.
I think it's better for you if we go to the next fight.
I know my started sweating here, guys. I'm so upset about this. Again, you know, honestly, like, yeah, it would have been nice to get the pick right. This has nothing to do with that at all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This has everything to do with justice for the fighters. And again, I have a lot of sympathy for these guys like Kyle Daukaus that are contender series guys making 12 and 12. He really needed that 12,000. I'm telling you guys, he really needed that money. And I can guarantee you that guy's super fucking pissed off right now, Kyle Daukaus. Hey,
by the way,
he says Herb Dean's a washed ref. He looks stoned and uninterested. I kind of agree. He hasn't looked the same in years. What are you going to say?
I see James Lynch just posted an interview with Kyle Daukaus about the no contest, so maybe interesting to watch for you guys.
I'd like to watch that after. Obviously, I can't do it right now because I'm talking to you guys. Yeah, talk about it later. Okay, let's go to the next fight here. Nico Price defeats Alex Oliveira 29-28. Yo, as someone who did bet on Nico in this fight, this was a sketchy fight to bet on, man, because I thought he was about to lose the fight. It was so close that one takedown at the end of the ground and pound changed the fight. That was basically winning the fight. I saw your tweet, Marcel. He literally won in the last 15 seconds.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Bro, this fight was way closer than it needed to be. And to me, guys, I think Nico's on such a decline right now. He looked so slow in this fight, Marcel. He looked really bad in this fight. His ground game looked good. His stand-up looked horrible. The worst I've ever seen his stand-up look, honestly. I don't know what you thought. I thought he looked really stiff in this fight. Just didn't look the same. What do you think?
Yeah, man, don't think it was a great fight. You know, he did well in the first round. He was better than Oliveira in that one. Oliveira took over in the second round. And third round was really even. I think Oliveira was kind of leading that round until the last 15-20 seconds that Nico took control over the fight, you know, and that won him the fight. So it's like it wasn't the fight I expected.
It wasn't a great fight. I agree. It really wasn't a fan-friendly fight, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
I think Nico fought a smart fight considering what he had to work with here. Obviously, his stand-up just wasn't there tonight, or on Saturday, I should say, but his wrestling looked pretty good. He's calling out the Diaz brothers now. I don't know if he gets that fight, honestly, after this fight. I think if it was a great fight and he knocked him out or something, he could have. But because it was such a boring fight, I don't think he'll get those guys.
I mean, if we knew how the card went, I would have stopped watching after Hernandez Breeden, man. I wouldn't want to go.
Bro, same here, man. The last couple of fights, I feel like such a waste of time to watch. Let me get these comments. Jose wants the rematch end of this year. I agree completely with that. They got to fit it on the card.
Yeah, sure.
Person said they couldn't believe Price Oliveira didn't finish. Main card disappointed. It was terrible. The prelims were great. Main card was one of the worst main cards of the year, I'd say. Do you know why Alex Oliveira is crying as he was walking the cage? I saw that he was in tears. No idea. Maybe that's the last walk. Maybe he gets cut. I mean, he's lost 3 in a row. Can't believe Oliveira couldn't beat Deserves or Price. Both guys are staying away from him. I agree completely. I don't think I could bet on Price after that fight. What are you say?
Oliveira already knew what was going to happen the fights after him. So yeah.
Tristan says the Price take care of the 11 kids. That's funny. Next fight here, Christoph Jotko, Amisha Serkinov, split decision, Marcel, for Jotko. I mean, this was a close fight, guys, honestly. All 3 judges had different scorecards. I really think it could have went either way. I think I leaned a little bit towards Jotko, but it was super close.
Yeah, first 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's what I had to. And then the last round, Misha had 5 takedowns in that round. It's insane. One of the judges gave it to Jotko, though, because I guess in that one last takedown with like 10 seconds left. I don't think that should eliminate the other stuff that Misha did that whole round, right? It was a close fight. I'd like to see Misha get one more fight. You know, at middleweight. Would you like to see him get one more?
Yeah, why not? I like Misha, so maybe I'm a little bit biased.
I think we all like Misha. I don't think anyone can dislike the guy. He's a nice guy. He's a decent fighter. Not a great fighter, but decent. And I think they'll get him.
He also had a super tough time with his wife.
Obviously, his wife had cancer last year. I mean, the UFC is very sympathetic to that. They know that, the situation. Alexander Hernandez knocked out Mike Breeden. I mean, listen, Marcel, I had some bad picks last week with some big underdogs, and you took a shot on this guy. It happens, right? You take a shot on a guy who's a 4-1 dog. He's not supposed to win, and that's pretty much what happened. It was like me last week with Rosenstrike and Modafferi, right? Like, I'm like, all right, I'll take a shot on these odds. But you see why the odds are the way they are. and Hernandez smoked this guy. That punch was absolutely gorgeous. No bonus though, which kind of surprised me a little bit. But
this is probably again because you get a guy on short notice and a guy who and I hate that, man. You know, if you don't, Hernandez deserved the bonus here.
He did, because like to me that was the most exciting moment probably of the night. Like I was like, holy fuck, what a knockout! Like that was beautiful, right behind the ear, beautiful punch. Good win for him. I mean, I he called out Leo Santos again for the rebooking. That's fine, but I think maybe if he wins that fight, they give him a top 15 guy again.
Yeah, man. And Hernandez finally sounded a little bit more humble than he
finally for once. I know. I'm surprised. Yeah, Mr. Cocky Hernandez. I know. Let's go to the prelims here, guys. Let me get this one. Actually, let me get this question from you guys first. Jose says, "Wish Hernandez was aggressive against Moises." Me too. And would you like to see a Hernandez fight next? Who would you like to see him fight next? I think the Leo Santos fight's fine. They were supposed to fight. He pulled out. That's a fine fight. You okay with that one too? Yeah?
Yeah, why not? Why doing a difficult when we can do easy?
Yeah, it's easy. The only other thing I was thinking, and it won't happen, but it'd be sweet, Paddy Pimblett, just because he's training partners with Luigi, who's training partners with Alexander, right? So maybe they could do that fight, but I don't think they will. I think they'll build up Paddy slow. Owen says, no mention Breeden weighed in, looking all jolly with missing weight. He looked terrible, Owen. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I heard his interview. He said that he was eating dinner with his son like a few days before, and they got the call taking the fight on short notice. Like, he wasn't in shape, obviously. He didn't look like he was in shape, Marcel, honestly. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like, if you're a fighter right now, knowing that COVID's happening, knowing that UFC calls up guys all the time now, why would you not stay in like 100% optimal shape? You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, that's a mistake on this guy's fault. Like, I get it. You never know. Like, if you're going to get the call up, but you know it can happen. And this guy obviously has the right camp and the right management too. So he knew it could happen. He just didn't keep himself in shape. So about this fight here, Jared Gordon defeats Joe Selecki, split decision, super close fight. It came down to that third round, Marcel. How'd you have the third round scored? How'd you score it?
I think I had it for Gordon, but it was super close.
Super close. Yeah,
it was close. It was either way could win that fight. Well, it wasn't like it's a clear decision. So I was really curious what was going to happen on the scorecard. So yeah.
Me too. I'm kind of disappointed by Selecki in this fight. I mean, he had a nice start to the fight, and then his cardio looked a little shaky, and his striking just really isn't that good either. So I like this guy, but man, like I don't know if he's as good as a prospect as I thought at first, Marcel. His striking looked really weak to me. I got to be honest with you. Let me get these comments from Matt. Matt says, what's Selecki's future? A-level skill, maybe on MMA game. I kind of agree with that. Looks like a BJJ guy to me, doesn't he? Looks like a guy who's just going to do really well in these tournaments. I don't know how good he is at MMA. I mean, he has a lot of wins, obviously, but striking just isn't there. Hey, Tristan, no problem, man. Thanks again for joining us, man. We always appreciate having you, buddy. Sorry, I missed a question from Jose. He asked about Guram Tataladze as the Instagram post. Instagram's down here. I haven't been on it all day.
I can't see it now.
I can't see anything either, Jose. It's been down all day. It's very frustrating, not because I'm like on it all day, because I use it for work. You know what I mean? So it's frustrating. I know for you too, Marcel.
Yeah.
He's asking about Tataladze and Makani. I mean, if they want to do that fight, I'm fine with it. Although I thought, are they? Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Yeah, I'd be fine. I'd be okay with that. Casey O'Neill defeats Antonina Shevchenko. Kind of a sketchy first round a little bit. Antonina had her in a bad position. He had her in the crucifix position for a second, Marcel. But let her out of it, and then Casey O'Neill just took over the fight. This girl's really good. She's only 23 years old, and she's 8-0 right now with 5 finishes, including 3 in the UFC. You know, Marcel, I got to look at her, and she's like one of the prospects of the year right now. 3-0 in the UFC this year alone. I like this girl. What do you think?
Yeah, I had to laugh. Somebody said Casey O'Neill is everything the UFC wanted Macy Barber to be. I mean, she looks good, man. She does very well. I mean, we both picked her, I think, against Shevchenko because we were not really impressed with Shevchenko's ground game. I mean, O'Neill did well, you know, and she got a bonus as well, I think. 3 wins in a row, 3 finishes against, I won't say that Dobson is a great opponent, but a Procopio finish and a Shevchenko finish is good on your record. So I'm looking forward what they're going to do next with her. I would say maybe a top 15 girl, but low in the top 15.
Because like Anthony, I don't think is ranked anymore, but she was.
No.
Yeah. I'm looking at the rankings and I don't know because... Man, it's tough to say because, Marcel, you look at the division, like the bottom of the rankings is like Montella De La Rosa, Miranda Maverick. I don't think they're going to book these fights. Maybe Roxanne Modafferi. Maybe that's the fight you do. You do number 11, Roxy and let this girl build a name off Roxy. Maybe that's what you do. I think
that
she
would
can
be
win that fight, but my
Yeah,
God,
but that would
Roxy
be so
knocked this
sad.
girl off, eh? She's going to beat this prospect too, isn't she?
Yeah, but that would be also so sad if they do with Roxy and Roxy loses again to a girl like upcoming.
Yeah.
I want to give Roxy a more established fighter, please. Right now. I don't mean established in like high regions, but like a little bit less up and
Yeah.
coming because I know it went well a few times, but it's not going to end well all the time. Casey O'Neill, there are some good girls still who are also not ranked in the division that would make sense. So I would be
You
cool.
could
with
even
that
do
as
like
well.
Lipsky maybe too. She's out there. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah.
Two attractive girls. That'd be a fun fight.
Mm.
Coming off wins. It's the kind of fight the UFC would do, to be honest with you. Yeah, exactly. He just said Casey Lipsky. I literally didn't see your comment until I just read it right now, by the way. Or Eubanks. Don't give her Eubanks. I think Eubanks would be bad matchup for her, honestly.
Tracy Cortez?
Maybe, but I think they're going to build Cortez a little slowly too. It seems
Just
like on different paths. Kish got cut. She got cut.
She got cut. I didn't even
released.
know.
Although I don't think she should have been because I do think that the fight was really close to Cortez, but she was cut. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Matt says not sure Neil's ready for that next step yet. Yeah, I want to take it slow too. She's so young. Marcus asking, do you think they'll cut Antonina? She's 3-4. Marcus, I just checked the UFC 3-4. She's lost 3 of her last 4 as well. I think she'll stay. She'll get one more fight because of her relationship with Valentina, but she's not a UFC caliber fighter, guys. She isn't.
We bet you're out with Casey O'Neill, JJ Aldrich.
You could do that fight. Aldrich is kind of like an underrated fighter who's always good, and she's got a good ground game and good striking. So yeah. that'd be a decent fight. Sure, you could do that fight. What was they saying? Do you think Alper got cut because of her ties with Jake Paul? You know what? I do think that's part. I do think that could be part of it. I do, but I also think she went 0-2 in the UFC and looked terrible both her fights. She's just not a UFC fighter. Yeah. So I think that it could have had a part of it, obviously, but I think more in general, it's just the 2 losses she had. She looked terrible in those fights. All right, let's go through the rest of the fights here, Marcel. Carol Rosa defeats Betch Correa. I was disappointed with this fight. And I'll tell you why. I think this girl could have finished her so many points in the fight, and I think she had too much respect for Betch. I think it was like she just didn't want to. She didn't want to finish her.
But
she
just
wanted to go the distance with someone that she respected.
Of course, but why would you make this fight as a UFC?
Why did they this fight? What was the point of this fight? I said this. What was the point? Everyone knew who was going to win the fight.
Yeah.
What was the point of this fight? I just don't get it. Now I have people saying, "Oh well, now they can say that you got to win over a former title challenger." Like, who gives a fuck? Like, who's watching the fight because of that, anyways? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, who cares? Like, to me, it was pointless matchmaking. She's 4-0 now in the UFC. She's obviously very good, but to me, I gotta be honest with you, I almost feel like it was a step back in a way because I was expecting a finish in this fight, and I didn't get it.
Also, so this is not important, but I wonder, you do a ranked fighter, Carol Rosa, against unranked Betch Correa. Why is Rosa not?
That's the other thing. It wasn't like Betch was 15 and she was unranked. It's the other way around. It didn't make. She was defending her spot against an unranked fighter who's old. It made no sense. Also, calling Betch a legend and stuff is ridiculous. This girl is 5-6-1 in the UFC, guys. 5-6-1, sub 500 record. She's best known for getting destroyed by Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm.
Listen,
she was an okay fighter. That's it. She was an okay fighter. That's all. Not a legend.
Disrespect, but saying a legend that's
ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, there's other Brazilian legends who are women, like Cyborg. You know what I mean? Like, Betch Correa is not a legend. Sorry, but she's not.
Amanda.
Amanda. Jose's asking Carol, or he's saying Carol Rosa's a few prospects at bantamweight. She is, but I just don't see the point of this fight. Everyone knew she was going to win. So what was the point of it? Like, we didn't see anything new from her. I think she's had tougher fights. I think Carol Rosa's had tougher fights already. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, I think that what's her name? Jocelyn Edwards is probably a tougher fighter at this point.
Plus, you're not going to give Betch Correa in the last fight, Carol Rosa. It just didn't make sense.
Why didn't he just give her a winnable fight? I just didn't understand it, guys. I scratched my head. There's got to be. Okay, let me just check I'm going to check the roster for a second. I want to see if there was someone else that they could have given her instead. Let me just take a look.
I think for sure, man, for sure.
Let me take a look here. I'm looking at really bad records. Okay, so you could have given her Julia Stolarenko. You could have given her Veronica Macedo, Wu Yanan. These girls all have sub 500 records like Betch. Betch actually has one of the worst records in the division. If you look at the division, it's garbage. She has one of the few sub 500 records. Most fighters in the division have a winning record. So just saying, it just didn't make sense to me. It's a very bizarre matchmaking. Let's talk about this next fight, Marcel. You picked this upset, man. Congrats. Nice pick. Jamie Malarkey knocks out Devontae Smith. I mean, it sure looked like Devontae was winning that fight in the first round. And then second round, he gassed out again. This guy, he's a good one-round fighter, but that's about it, Marcel. And Malarkey, the pressure, he gave this guy no breathing room. I like Jamie Malarkey, man. He's kind of an underrated guy. if you look at his record, guys, his last 6 wins are by knockout. He's kind of a knockout artist in a way, but not really like a one-punch guy. He survives the first round, then he beats the shit out of you in the second round. Or the common word that you don't have a chin, he knocks you out in the first round. This guy's good, Marcel. He's an underrated guy, man, in my opinion.
Dude, he went 0-2 in the first 2 UFC fights, but he got screwed in the Fares Yam fight, in my opinion. And the first fight against Riddell was super fun. It was a fight of the night fight. But he deservedly lost that fight, but it was a fun fight, you know. And man, he looked good since. And indeed, Devontae won the first round. He looked like he was gonna do very well. And then he gassed, like you said, and Jamie took over. And man, the heat, he come in with those punches to Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith couldn't come out of it, you know. Milwaukee kept pressuring him, and at a certain moment, it was enough, you know. And Jamie did it, and congrats to him. I think a great performance from him, and I think he was definitely an underdog in the fight. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt says not sure if Jamie wins 3 or 5. He's on the radar for sure. He's good, and he's improving too. I think. Let Malarkey welcome Azatar, Ottoman Azatar. Sure, yeah, that'd be. I want. Because Ottoman's the kind of guy that if he doesn't knock you out the first round, he probably gasses. So it's kind of like the same guy. I know what you're saying, Matt. He's saying 3 or 5 for Smith. I get it. Who knows how that fight would play out if they fight again? I think that Smith would be a lot more conservative with his gas, or he'd just go for the finish, go for broke. He didn't fight the smartest. See how poor Betch did. It shows how far the women's division comes into Rousey. I agree completely with Glenn. I mean, the sport's evolved so much in the last 6 years, guys. Yeah, like Betch was a good fighter at one point, and she's not anymore. By the way, I missed this comment from Adolf. He's asking Soldich or Mohamed.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Who's your pick?
Man, I don't like to pick against Mohamed, but I'm probably going with Soldich.
I think you have to, right? He's a younger guy. I mean, Mohamed's 40-something now, like 45.
They're gonna announce the fight later this month in the KSW show. Man, that's such a good fight, you know.
He's 41. Sorry, he's not 45. I don't know why I said 45. 41, though. It's still pretty. He's getting up there in age, you know. Mohamed. Mohamed should have been in the UFC. I guess he just didn't.
Oh, for sure.
Probably
he got
more money, right?
10%. He got 10%. I remember. So
I remember that. Yeah, he's making more money just beating up guys in Poland. Well, not anymore, but when he was. A couple other fights here. Douglas Silva Andrade defeats Gaetano Perello. I mean, bad pick by me. This was my bad pick of the night. You had your Mike Breeden. I had my Gaetano Perello. You know, Marcel. It was actually the fight played out the way I thought it would. It was a stand-up fight. I'm like, this fight's going to stay in the feet. Both guys will have a chance, but this guy got really no chin, man. One punch knocked him out really cold. I don't know, Marcel. I think he gets cut. Douglas Silva, nice win for him. Gets a bonus. Good win for him. Stephanie Egger defeats Shannon Young via an elbow. It's kind of a weird stoppage, but the referee Mark Smith told her to fight back. She didn't, and they stopped the fight. I'm okay with the stoppage. And then Alejandra Perez, he had a bad first round. He lost the first round to Johnny Waru, who's 43 years old, but came back in the second, had an absolutely beautiful submission. And a lot of people are calling it a scarfo arm lock. I don't think that's what it was. I think it was an arm bar because that's what they called the broadcast. And I think it wasn't when he twisted his head like this. It was when they put the arm under and he got it between his legs. I think it was an arm bar he tapped out to. So I think it is a straight arm bar that was the submission. But either way, he gets a bonus too. Give me your thoughts.
I had to laugh when somebody said Johnny Eduardo, I don't know exactly what, lost 9 fights and like 7 or 8 are by submission. So
he's lost 13 fights and 10 by submission.
Yeah, that's like, but he got Muay Thai here on the stomach, so probably that's.
Bro, you better be fucking good at Muay Thai if you have it written and tattooed on your stomach. And he is a good Muay Thai guy, obviously.
Yeah.
But again, Marcel, fade the 40-year-old guys. I'm telling you guys, anytime a fighter's 40, I'm not going to pick him anymore. I can't do it in the UFC. You know what I mean, Marcel? I just can't do it. It's the biggest, I think, advantage you can have in a fight now is being like 10 years, younger. And in this case, Perez was like 12 years younger. So to me, that's a huge advantage. Anything else you want to talk about this card? I mean, we actually kind of talked about a little bit more than I thought, considering it wasn't a great card, but obviously a lot of storylines. Anything else you guys want to talk about from this card? Or are we good?
I'm good. I don't know you.
I'm good. Let's go to Bellator. Talk about it really quick, guys. I didn't see the entire card. I did see the main event. I don't think it was the right decision by the judges. I was pretty pissed by it. I think the Douglas Lima won the fight. I think he got kind of hosed by the judges. It was hometown cooking, in my opinion. I mean, it was in England. We knew that, but close fight. But I thought Douglas won. I'm watching the fight. I'm like, Douglas was going to win this fight. He won the fight. Give me your thoughts,
Adam. I fucking knew it. I was watching this with my dad, and my dad never watched his Bellator, so he had never saw Michael Page fight before. He's like, what's this for a lunatic? And it's like, he's always fights like this, and he beats many people like this. Like, oh, okay. And he's like, I think Douglas Lima won that fight 29-28. It's like, yeah, I think that as well. I say, but I show you right now. I tell you right now, he's going to lose a split decision here. He's like, no, I don't think so. I said, for sure, he's going to lose a split decision here because they can bend it in a way that he looked better than Douglas Lima, you know. And I was also texting with another guy who I do a podcast with in Nellis, and I said to him 29-28 Lima. Yeah, that's for sure. They said. I was like, they're going to screw him. They're going to give a split decision to Pace. It's like, do you really think? I said, I really have the feeling they're going to do it. And right there, 29-28, Michael Page. And the thing that really bothers me all the time with these kind of things is like that I see British journalists also are like, yeah, Michael Page won.
They're really biased, eh? Those guys are really biased, eh?
I mean, why are you so biased?
I don't get it. Like, I'm a Canadian fan. Last week, Jasmine Jassidovicius fought Contender Series. I tweeted, I don't think she should get signed by the UFC. You know what I mean? Every other Canadian person was like, get her in the UFC. I can't wait. I'm like, as a fan, I got to be as a journalist, I got to be impartial. She's just not UFC caliber, in my opinion. When you watch a fight, you got to put away your biases as much as you can, guys. You know what I mean, Marcel? And I think a lot of the British are very biased towards this guy and towards British fighters in general.
Yeah, if a Dutch fighter does well, of course I'm going to say it's great, you know, because he's from my country. But I'm not going to say if he does bad that he definitely should win or he didn't win, you know. And I'm not biased in my writing or whatever I put up, you know.
Yep.
And that's a bad thing in my opinion, you know. And you got to watch it from a neutral perspective. I watch it from a neutral perspective. I don't win anything with Michael Page winning. I don't win anything with Douglas Lima winning. But from my point of view, Douglas Lima won 2 of the 3 rounds, you know.
Yep.
Plus, many of those knockdowns by Michael Page
they weren't even knockdowns. They weren't knockdowns, guys. I had people messaging saying there was 4 knockdowns. No, there wasn't, guys. You got to look at what a knockdown is. A knockdown's a lot harder to score than that.
Yeah.
If you go look at UFC stats, which is something I look at every day. They don't really score knockdowns. You have to actually get a guy off his feet and fall to the ground. It's not a slip. And I think Douglas slipped. It was a different thing, right?
And that fans don't see that, I don't mind. But that journalist saying he got 4 knockdowns,
that's brutal. You know, exactly. If you're a fan and you're watching, you might not know what a knockdown really is. I can see it's hard to tell sometimes. Even for the judge, it can be hard to tell. But in this fight, they were clearly not knockdowns, Marcel. He wasn't hurt at all. He got right back up. Those are not knockdown, guys. It's not a knockdown. Go watch a fight with 4 knockdowns. Go watch Montel Jackson and JP Bays. That was 4 legitimate knockdowns. Go watch that fight again. Go watch Eric Anders versus Cleo Roundtree. That's 4 knockdowns. The guy got knocked down to the ground and couldn't get up. That's a knockdown. Marcel, it's not where you fall down and you stand back up. That's not a knockdown.
Know, it's just really bothering me, man. I mean, why? Listen, man, if you're a fan and you're biased, okay, I get it. It's no problem, you know. But if you're a journalist, you can be, man. And even if it's from your country, you can. You will never see me say something about when Overeem is in a close fight and I think he actually lost, and I say, yeah, he should win. You will never see me say that, you know, and that doesn't mean that I don't back my fighters from my country. I always hope they do well, you know, but I'm not going to go in public and act like a fan or something because it doesn't make sense. Since I'm in the media right now, you will never see me do that. You know what I mean? So it's just not done, in my opinion.
Douglas has lost 3 in a row, by the way. I'm just looking at his record right now, and that's surprising, but he lost to Page, Amisov, who's a champ, and Musasi. It looks like Page wants the trilogy fight, but I feel like they should just give him the title shot, obviously.
You know, that's actually funny to me because he wants a trilogy fight because I think he knows.
He knows he didn't win either. He probably knows that. But I feel like they're just going to they'll just do Amisov and Page, I think, at this point. Because who else can Amisov fight? Who else is a contender there? I can't even think of, wasn't this the number 1 contender fight? I think it was.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. It was.
Sorry, Jason Jackson's the other guy. Jason Jackson. I forgot.
Yeah, but they won't give Jason Jackson against Page because he's going to take him down.
Yeah, exactly. They won't do that fight. So that's the thing. Amisov probably will too, but at least it'd be for the title. So I think they might do the fight next. But yeah, Douglas, I like the guy, but man, I got these comments here, guys. Glenn says that judges were swayed by this. It was because of the crowd noise. He says yes, and you're right. It wasn't the
Ben Cartlidge.
Ben Cartlidge is a good judge. He's a solid judge, and he's not a wimp either. This guy has a Twitter account. He's the only judge I know that is on Twitter. He doesn't talk about his scores. But
I respect him a lot, yeah.
But at least he's on there. You know what I mean, Marcel? Yeah. And he's not being a goof like that one guy who was in Texas with the I can't remember fighter. Remember that fight at Goof? He was arguing with like John McCarthy a few months ago. Who was that guy? Bobby Green, Rafael Feziev.
Yeah.
Yes, that fight, that goofy judge. This guy's out. He's a good judge. I think I have no issue with this guy. And you're right. He scored it the correct way. Isn't that something, Marcel? The British judge scored it right.
I think it was the same thing done with Bisping against Hamill back then. I think the British judge
that was
on the 2. American
Yeah,
started for
Hamill
Bisping.
should have won that fight. The other one, well, Bisping, I think he lost to Dan Henderson too. You know, and he fought Dan Henderson. I think that you could have given
Dude,
Dan Henderson that win too.
I think he lost to Talis Ladies as well, you know, but
that was another one too. Yeah, I remember that one. All right, let me get these comments, guys. Jose's asking, has Aljo been tripped? Should he have been stripped? No, because he's going to fight by the end of the year, he says. He says December, but they're probably moving to like January or February because the cards are all full. The cards are full.
There's also a thing with, how do you say that? He got, how do you say that? He did not get cleared by the UFC doctor. So when
yes, the UFC doctor didn't clear him. It wasn't like he pulled out. The UFC doctor said you can't fight because the neck injury is not healed, and apparently he could get paralyzed if he was injured in the wrong way. So that's scary. I mean, it's fucking scary. But of course, anyone can get paralyzed. And you know what? Let's mention this right now. There was a fighter that got killed in bare knuckle fighting championship 2 months ago. We got to mention this. Talk about it today quickly, Marcel. Let's just because I think we're done with this. I'm going to talk about contender series in a sec, guys, but I do want to talk about this quickly. It's really sad news. Let me pull up the.
I know he fought Lex McMahon.
Yes, he did.
Right?
Let me pull up the tweet here. The guy's name is Justin Thornton, and I'll just pull up the tweet from my boy Eric Cole from Miami News. He broke the news this morning. Very sad news. Learn of the passing of Justin Thornton. Justin passed away this morning after battling through injuries and complications occurred as a result of his latest bare knuckle bout at BKFC 20 in August. Now, unfortunately, the video I had from BJ Penn is on Instagram, so I can't watch it again. But I did see that Junkie had a video. So if you guys haven't seen it, we should just watch the video quickly. It just looked like it was a bad knockout, obviously, but it didn't look like it would kill the guy. You know what I mean, Marcelo?
His neck didn't came good on the canvas.
I think it hit the ground, right?
Yeah.
The canvas, yeah.
Really
that's what. So here it is, guys. If you guys haven't seen it, so it's the guy in blue that gets knocked out. He gets face planted here. You guys probably this was in August, right here.
There you see.
Look at the way his head fell, eh, Marcel? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It's really sad. I mean, that was the guy died after that. So
I mean, it's horrible. And also, what to think about the guy who actually did it? How do you?
I mean, it's terrible for him because he's probably got a lot of guilty conscience now, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So I got a few thoughts about this. Number one, this is a realistic thing that can happen in combat sports. People can die in the octagon or the ring anytime. That's why I have so much respect for the fighters, and I don't fighter bash because I know how much these guys put into their training and then what they risk in the cage or the ring, which is their lives. I agree completely with Matt. I gotta be honest, Matt. This is going to sound really morbid. I'm still waiting for the day where someone dies in the octagon. I think it's going to happen one day. I just think it's going to happen. We've seen it happen in boxing. Guys die every year in boxing. MMA, people have died in MMA, mostly from weight cutting, but we have seen people die in other countries and stuff. Because it's so regular in the States, probably not, but I still feel like we might see it one day, Marcel. As morbid as it sounds, I don't want anyone to die, guys, but you just got to look at it. You're kicking, punching, elbowing, kneeing people in the head. That's not good for your head. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, and if you get hit in the neck in the wrong way, you could snap your neck. And Matt, you said you remember I had a catastrophic injury, but we did have that guy that fought Frank Shamrock way back in the day, Igor Zinoviev, I think. What was that his name?
Yeah, the slam.
And he slammed him, broke his neck, and I don't think he ever fought again, right? So that was probably the worst injury we've ever had in the UFC, besides obviously the broken legs. But that's the thing. When I see broken legs, and I don't train anymore. When I did train, I broke my arm, and it sucks, right? But when I see broken limbs now, it doesn't gross me out because to me, that's not that bad because the next level is when someone actually gets killed in a cage or in a ring. And I've seen it happen. I've seen guys get killed in boxing. I've seen a guy get killed in, I think it was in kickboxing, the guy from Duke Rufus's camp a few years ago. Remember him? He got killed, took too much punishment. So it's just, it's part of the sport. It's the ugly part of the sport, guys. No one wants to talk about this, but, rest in peace to this guy, Justin Thornton. Again, an MMA veteran, Marcel, a guy who fought Lex McMahon in his last fight, guy who fought Chase Sherman, and a bunch of other guys in Florida. So it's really, really sad. Rest in peace. I mean, I don't know what to say. It reminds me of when Tim Hague died. Remember Tim Hague, Canadian fighter?
Yeah, definitely.
He got killed in a boxing match. And the guy who killed him, I don't know if he ever fought again either. I think he never fought again, the guy who killed him, Marcel, because it's just, it takes so much out of you mentally when you hurt someone so bad that they die. You know what I mean? So the guy who killed him, I just wonder what he's thinking right now. It's just really, really sad. Zach saying, is there going to be a death? It'll be in Bellator or some other mismatches. Like, I kind of agree with that. I mean, that fight with, what's it called?
Almost. Kimbo.
Out of 5,000 and Kimbo. And yes, there's Adam Braidwood, the former CFL player that knocked out Tim Hague. I don't think Adam ever fought again, right? Let me double check that. I want to just make sure I'm not speaking on my ass here. I don't think he ever fought again after that, the Tim Hague fight. He did. He fought, actually. My bad. He fought a few more fights, but it looks like he's retired. He hasn't fought in 2 years now. But still, it's just absolutely terrible. And apologies, actually. He's not. Yeah, this guy's a piece of crap. Actually, I'm looking at this. He's in jail because he beat his girlfriend up. Okay, great. So that's awesome. That's just terrible. So Tim Hague died, and the guy who killed Tim Hague, he's in jail because he beat up his girlfriend. That's horrible. I didn't know that. Sorry, guys. That's just terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. I did see it, Zach. I just saw his Wikipedia. Just awful. I didn't know that happened 2 years ago. That's why he hasn't been fighting. I thought it was because he was so messed up mentally from the Tim Hague fights. No, it's because the guy's a bad person. Gwen said it's probably going to take a death from UFC for the fighters to get together and form a union. It might be. I don't want to see it happen, guys, but I'm still telling you, there's going to be a fight in the UFC where someone gets slammed really hard or something, Marcel, with a slam, breaks their neck broken, or just gets knocked out in a bad way. I mean, we've seen some bad knockouts over the years, guys, and this is the problem with like bad refs, because bad refs can lead to guys getting more damage, and more damage can lead to death. Let's talk about Dana White's Contender Series quickly. Marcel, talk about last week's show. Get your thoughts on this one. So Dana White gave out 3 contracts. It seems like almost like the matchmakers were like, sorry, he gave out 2 contracts. 2 contracts? 2 contracts.
Yeah.
It's almost like the matchmakers are like, hey, Dana, you've been signing too many people. We got to stop signing so many people. I'm just looking at who they signed. So we'll talk about this guy quickly. Igor Pretoria. We both talked about him last week. I didn't think the odds were fair because he had been on like a 16-fight win streak. It was a huge underdog. He knocked out Sadolski in round 1, Marcel. This guy looked amazing. And he had a great interview afterwards as well. What did you think of this guy? I thought he looked good, man.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I didn't pick him to win. I picked Sadolski to win. He looked very good, from the beginning. First round TKO. I mean, we all know they were going to sign him after that happened. So it was a good win, and he has a very good record. I think he's 22-2 or something. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see here. The other one was okay. So we'll just go down the card. Actually, Kyle Baralo defeats Aaron Jeffrey, which to me was a surprise because I'm very high on Aaron Jeffrey, and I feel bad for this guy because if you saw his tweet after the fight, he's like, I moved my life all the way to Las Vegas. I've been training my ass off, and I still can't make it in the UFC level. It's just like, it really made me sad because he's admitting to himself, I'm not UFC caliber, right? But I still think he's a good fighter, Marcel, that should be in like a Bellator or PFL or something. You know what I mean, Marcel? Maybe he's not good enough for the UFC, but I still think he's still a good fighter.
I agree. You know what bothered me, man? I think it wasn't a bad fight at all, but Baralo, it was pretty clear the UFC expected Jeffrey to win the fight.
Yes, they weren't too happy. I think this guy won.
Yeah. And now they gave him another Contender Series.
Yeah, so Dana White passed on signing him. He just said he wasn't interested, but then they signed him again to fight Jesse Murray in 2 weeks. And I thought this guy looked pretty good. I'll be honest with you. I think they probably should have signed him because he was talking some shit to Sean Strickland after, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll sign this guy just because he's talking crap. But it wasn't a great fight. So I think that maybe giving him the other fight was probably the right decision. I'm not saying this was like a bad decision not to sign him, but I'm just saying I thought they would. The other guy they did sign was Daniel Zellhuber, which obviously deserved it. Looked amazing. This guy's a great prospect. This fight was amazing against Lucas Almeida. That guy, I think, also needs to be in the UFC, Marcel. Dana White said he's going to get one. He said, go get a fight in the regional scene, go get a win on the regional scene, we'll bring it to the UFC. That's what he told the kid. I don't get it. Why would you tell him to go sign somewhere else? Sign him right now. It doesn't matter if he came off a loss. Everyone liked that fight. That was like, if that was in the UFC, Marcel, that was $50,000 each. That was an amazing fight. Give me your thoughts on those guys.
Yeah, I agree, man. That was a great fight. And I really like Zellhuber, Golden Boy, Mexican guy.
I like Almeida too, man. He's fun.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
For sure. I mean, you need two good for you need two to you want to say you need two to dance. Yeah, two to tango, yeah. So I mean it was a good fight and deserved signing for Daniel Zellhuber.
100%. And I love seeing the emotion pouring out of this kid. He's crying, he's on the phone with his parents. Like
super young as well.
Pardon?
Super young as well.
Yeah, he's like 22, I think. 23. Yeah, he's super young. Last guy, and obviously we got our boy Jose doesn't agree with this one, but Rizvan Kuniev defeats Edgevan Santos, 3rd round knockout, but he didn't get signed. I didn't think he'd get signed. I was watching the fight thinking Dana White probably fucking hates this fight because most of the fight was him pushing against the guy against the fence. Finally gets the takedown down in the 3rd round against the guy who's 30 pounds lighter than him, Marcel. Dana wasn't impressed by this fight. I don't think they invited him back for another fight. Dana White just didn't like this guy's style. I think this guy's a Eagle Fighting Championship guy, so Khabib's got him under his roster, which is kind of why I thought they would sign him just because of the Khabib connection. But I don't think Dana liked this fight. So give me your thoughts.
Yeah, clearly he didn't like it. I don't think it was a great fight either. But normally Dana signs even worse heavyweights because they need heavyweights, So I was like, maybe he will sign them. You never know, but he didn't. I didn't really mind because I don't think it was a great fight. But yeah, Dana's always like, we need heavyweights. Even when they are gassed from the first minute and they win a decision, he's like, we need heavyweights. But this time not. So yeah, it sucks for Kuniev, but gotta be honest, wasn't a great fight. So I think I pretty much agreed with the two contracts. I think Barrios could have got one as well, but the two guys who definitely deserve to get a contract got a contract. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me get these comments as well. Jose says, other thing that sometimes I wonder if it's going to happen in MMA, something similar to the Chris Benoit case. Thoughts? I mean, that is such a terrible situation. So it's sad because, I was before I became a MMA fan, Marcel, I was a wrestling fan. I loved wrestling when I was a kid. Chris Benoit was a Canadian fighter, the Crippler. Amazing wrestler. Amazing. The Four Horsemen, right? But he got really sick in the head and he killed his family, killed himself. One of the worst things that ever happened probably in pro wrestling. But it just shows the damage that CTE can do to these guys' brains, Marcel. And, this is still a new sport, guys. But as we go forward in the sport, you're going to see guys like, for instance, Chuck Liddell's in his early 50s. Wait till he's in his 60s, 70s. And I just I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying, like, what's his brain going to look like? You know what I mean, Marcel? So I just wonder what the sport, like, it's, everyone's saying, Dana White always says how safe MMA is and stuff. We don't really know that, though. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, it's still such a new sport. Sweet Scientist. Yeah, and I see one of your tweets in the UFC broadcast. They should put yours instead of Ryan Fredericks. Oh, that's like two Sweet Science. I mean, he puts his scores, Ryan. They usually put my analysis. It's awesome, man. It's cool. You know what I mean? But I'm going to tweet either way. If they put it up there or not, doesn't matter to me. But it's cool when they do. It's definitely a cool thing. Zach's asking who he thinks the worst ref in the game. He named a bunch of guys. I mean, do we have to even go? I don't even have to ask you, Marcel. I already know you're going to say Chris Tione. Right? Like, do I have to even ask you, man? Also, this guy just mentioned, this is a great point. Erwin Rivera is this guy's name. He tried to kill his sister. Yes. Remember that guy, Marcel? Like a few months ago, he went crazy. And I think he said I think he's got some brain issues too. So yeah, I mean, listen, guys, it's been an interesting podcast. We've talked about a lot of deeper stuff than just the fights, which is good because, the sport it's such an interesting sport in so many different ways, Marcel. You know what I mean? Like, but to me, it's like there's so many unknowns about the sport and what the damage will do to these fighters as they age. Marcel, that's the number one thing. And I think about a fighter like Casey O'Neill. She's been fighting since she was like a teenager. What's she going to look like in 30, 40 years? You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, I just wonder. So I think it's an amazing sport, the best sport in the world, but there are a lot of risks in this. And we should mention that the guy who died didn't die in an MMA fight. He died in a bare knuckle fight. And the bare knuckle thing, we talked about this, Marcel. I'm not a huge fan of it. I just don't find it that entertaining, I'll be honest with you. And also, they kept saying how it was safer than MMA. That is fucking bullshit. How is it safer than MMA? I don't understand that at all. Anyways, I mean, you saw what Dave Feldman's coming out doing damage control now, saying, no one ever wants to see a death happen. But bro, this could be the end of bare knuckle, I think. I mean, Marcel, like I feel like it's on the periphery anyways. Like I don't think like a lot of these big states and stuff in big countries want to even do it. And that's why you see it like Mississippi and all these places, or Florida. Like you don't see do they even have it in Nevada? Do they have bare knuckle in Nevada? I don't think they do.
I have no idea, to be really honest, man. I barely watch bare knuckle.
I only saw that clip because of Twitter. I didn't watch that fight. You know what I mean, Marcel? So Max Holloway, he's never been dropped. He's taken the most punches in UFC history without being dropped, which is insane. And he's been fighting since he was a teenager too. Jose said so many storylines happening in MMA, like real life pro wrestling. It is, man. Like I said, Jose, when I was a kid, I loved wrestling. When you're an adult, you love MMA. It's like the evolution, Marcel. But unless you're, well, I don't have to say his name, but one guy's still stuck in, loving wrestling when he should be loving MMA, I think. But anyways, let's get out of here, Marcel. Plug your stuff. Let's go. Guys, I really appreciate the comments. But thanks again. Love the discussion today. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, breaking down UFC Vegas 39. Marcel, plug your stuff. Let's get out of here.
Big Marcel24 on Twitter, Instagram, still the same. And MMADNA.nl, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I broke a fight today, October 23rd, Jai Herbert fighting Kamaworthy.
I saw someone tweet saying, man, this is brutal for the matchmakers. They're just trying to find out who has the worst chin in the UFC lightweight division. That's pretty funny. I really don't even know what's going to happen in that fight. I got to think about it some more. Sweet Scientist mentioned top boxer Felix Verdeja facing murder charges right now. It's just terrible to hear. Again, Sweet Scientist, I appreciate your comment earlier, man. That was nice of you. Thanks again. You guys can follow me on Twitter at MMADamMartin and theoddsbreaker.com. I'm always there, guys. You guys can message me anytime. I'm also available at bjpen.com. at MyMMAnews.com. I'm also with the All-Star. That's a cool website. And, of course, Elite Fantasy, the sports betting. And I'm with this new website called Bookies, which is cool. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we do like sports book reviews and stuff. It's actually kind of cool. So I'm actually writing about NFL and stuff for them, which is just completely different for me. But it's nice to like do a little something else. But MMA is my baby. I love it. And I'll be back tomorrow with Marcel to break down this card. Have a great day, guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.